Last night I started to think about this, and this morning I woke up and I said my prayers, as I always do, and I decided, today's the day I'm going to do this.
Well, it's a House divided in the aftermath of House Speaker John Boehner's resignation. The Ohio Republican making his surprise announcement after meeting with fellow GOP lawmakers after months of turbulence over his leadership styles, setting off a firestorm of controversy with members who felt Boehner wasn't conservative enough to satisfy their constituents. Some are proclaiming that the so-called status quo of doing business in the House is crumbling. Joining us now with some thoughts on all of this, Bob Nye, political analyst for Talk Radio News and a former Ohio congressman who was once the chairman of the House Administration Committee. Welcome, sir. Great to have you here today.
Thank you.
So do you believe the status quo is crumbling down now that it's no secret that conservatives have been in an uproar over Boehner for months now, and there was even an effort underway prior to his resignation to have opponents challenge him for the leadership?
Well, that's right. And I think it's not a matter that the conservatives put him out. I believe that John Boehner put himself out. His leadership style, the fact that he forgot who brought him there, and the fact that he tried to make everybody happy just doesn't work in today's America. Look at the presidential candidates. They're all proving that both sides of the aisle. So his style was stale. It will go down not as something to be marveled at, but as just something that was so lackluster. And the next speaker is going to have to be aware of that. So it's not a matter that people put him out. It's a matter that it became about John Boehner versus the institution and versus the office of the speaker and the goals of the Republican Party and the goals of the people of America.
Well, do you think he's really stepping down because he claims he was planning to do it anyway, or did he read the tea leaves himself and decide, well, he just didn't have enough of the votes to hold on to his post?
Look, for 11 years I spoke congressional speak, and now I'm out of the Congress. So what he is doing is congressional speak. He did not want to fight. And that was part of the problem with Speaker Boehner, frankly. He's not a bad human being, but he didn't want to fight. His style, which I pointed out a couple of years ago in a book I wrote, his style was one of not having confrontation. Well, if you're going to be, if you're going to run for office of the Speaker, you're going to have confrontation, and you have to communicate. And he didn't do that. He sent messages instead of policy. And so I believe firmly that he was going to get a fight. He knew it. And he wanted out, and so this was the perfect timing to do it the day after the Pope came. But he did not want to fight. He was going to get one, and I believe he was going to be put out as Speaker. He knew that.
I want to put up a poll taken by Fox News for our viewers because it shows some remarkable results. When asked the question, if you feel betrayed by politicians from your political party, take a look at this. 62% on the GOP side say yes, with 34% saying no, compared to the Democrats who say they feel betrayed by 40% versus no, 53%. So clearly, the GOP has been in some turmoil with those who really feel that the people that they sent to Washington in the last go-around, in the last election, who they believe were going to follow through on the promises that they made, just simply didn't do it and let folks down. The anger is really, really deep.
Well, I've been seeing it. I do a radio across the country, and I hear a lot of things. I've been seeing this for a long time. It's not just the conservative element, by the way, within the Republican Party. It is a broad brush, and I think your statistics show that.
It's on both sides, though. It's not just, it's on Republicans and Democrats, frankly.
Oh, I was just talking about the Republicans today, but it's everywhere. That's why some of these candidates are gaining a lot of ground in the presidential in America.
Speaker Boehner is viewed as one of the least popular speakers over the past few decades. Why do you think, even though the GOP controlled the House, he didn't seem to want to fight hard enough against some of the issues that the GOP promised voters that they would, like Obamacare and executive amnesty?
Well, you have to look at the person, and I pointed this out a couple of years ago, the fact of his style. He didn't want to fight. And, the worst place to have an automobile accident is in the middle of the road.
But he clearly had to know that the people wanted him to fight, that he was getting those messages sent to him regularly from fellow GOP members and also calls to his office from voters.
Well, He knew that, and when they say, well, this is the most turbulent time a person's had, what more did he want? He had a Republican House, he had a Republican Senate. This became about John Boehner raising money, and John Boehner as the Speaker and his staff and some lobbyists enabling him versus the institution, the broad picture, what they're going to do for America, articulating that and reaching out to his own conference. It became about John Boehner, so he got lost somewhere. It's happened to me and a lot of people, but he got lost somewhere along the line of where he needed to be and how he needed to operate. It became more about John Boehner.
And we shall see if Mitch McConnell is reading the tea leaves as well over on the Senate side.
He should watch.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And now we want to hear from you and get you to weigh in about Boehner's resignation. With the potential showdown underway, we can expect fireworks on Capitol Hill. Who do you think will win out, a conservative or someone who's viewed as part of the GOP establishment? Let me know your thoughts and tweet me at Uma Pemaraju. We're going to try to get to some of your answers a bit later on in our show.